There's a few people just buying some stock items over there in the corner, so we'll just wait for everybody to grab a seat. We're going to kick it off this morning with Sandy. She's here for 4 hours this morning. That's what you told me yesterday, 4 hours.
It's a right pain, isn't it? Lands it on me every time. Hello everybody!
Hello Sandy!
Welcome to Weston-super-Mare and our RT NTR. And that is the nuclear test reunion. I am so pleased to see so many of you here. Old friends, new friends, and people I've never met before that I'm gradually meeting. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. Now, as you know, this is the morning where we all have our videos and our chats and introducing each other. We've all got our little tags, or, well, I am.
That's a good start.
But you must remember, I'm the gopher, so there you go. Everybody knows me, I think. Most of you in this room will know our wonderful new chairman. His name's Alan. He's fantastic. And the one thing that Alan has always said to me, and he keeps saying it to everybody else, the BNTVA we used to know is gone. We are starting a new life. We are a new charity. We are babies. And we are all starting from scratch. And I know for a fact that when you hear what Alan's got to say, you'll understand that we are now a community. We are a family. So I just want you all to remember that. We are a family. Anyway, I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to clear off and pass you on to Alan. Thank you very much, everybody.
Right, a few things first. Just to say that there are no fire drills for this morning, apparently. But there is a fire exit there and a fire exit there. And the meeting place is out in the car park or out the front. Okay? Hopefully there won't be any. But if there is, do this like airplane thing to the left, to the right, over there. Okay? So what we've got for you today is a bit of a speech from me to begin with. A couple of things, explain to you about what's happening, what's going on. We've got stock being sold over there in the corner. We have brought a little piece of stock if you want to buy anything. Mel, my wife, is selling it over there in the corner with Janet. We've got some other items as well. Please go and have a look. All the funds are going back to the charity. Also, what we've got for you. Please ignore the fact that the screen doesn't fit, but unfortunately maintenance can't come with a stepladder to twiddle the little knob, and I'm not allowed to do it because it's against health and safety for me to do that. So what we've got today is we've got a chat from me. Also, you will notice that there's a piece of paper going around by my sister over there. What we're asking you to do is to put your name on there and what you were, Army, Navy or RAF. It's not a competition to see who the most of them are here. But basically what we want to try and do is to get people together. Create a list so you can see whether there's any friends that you might have had on the island are here. And after my speech, Ernest here, who is videoing me right now, is going to take some photos of us. Some smaller photos, some bigger group photos as well, because we want to get this in the next magazine. So if you could all fill in, my sister Laura, she will be going around. Then what we're going to do once you finish that list, we're going to put it up on the wall so people can go back and have a look and see what's on there. If also in the pack that you had, there was a little registration form. If you could fill that in as well, that gives me something to go on to say who was here and who wasn't. And if you haven't had a badge, hands up who hasn't got a badge. One of these nice Pontins badges. Sandy will walk around with some spare badges for anybody that hasn't got a badge. The idea of this badge is that it's a commemorative badge. for this year. We'll hopefully do them year on year. If you could wear this around when you're walking about, don't necessarily have to wear your name badges, but wear these badges, then everybody knows that you're here as part of this reunion. These were designed by Ron Watson. Where's Ron? One of our trustees designed this for you, and we had them prepared. The idea being they become a bit of a collector's item, and next year you'll have another one. It's not an incentive for you to come back next year just to get the badge. We want you to come back year on year. Okay, so what we've got for you this whole week. Today is me talking to you, introduction, then we're going to have, say, some photos, some videos, if I can get the tech to work. Then tomorrow morning, we have a presentation by the NCCF. Now, the NCCF is the Nuclear Community Charities Fund. I did a presentation on that last year for people that were here last year. Nigel Heaps and Steve Beckson are coming from the NCCF to talk to you all about what they're doing, the grant process, the Care and Wellbeing Fund, everything. I'm going to go into a little bit of it today, but not too much detail, because he's going to explain it to you in a lot more detail than I can tomorrow. So it's quite important. At 10 o'clock in here tomorrow morning, he will be discussing what's happening with all of the projects and all of the funding. Okay. Then on Wednesday afternoon, again in here from 2 o'clock, for people, anybody come to the AGM, the BNTVA AGM? I did. Yeah. Good. We had a session on the Sunday, which was fathers and sons and mothers and daughters just sitting around some tables, chatting to each other about issues that they've had, just general, nice, informal, bit of a social get-together. We're going to do that on Wednesday afternoon, and we have a newly qualified counsellor, Kim, who's going to come and sit in on the sessions because he's very interested in your stories and very interested in what's going on. Then on Thursday, you've got a quiz. Quiz in the morning, hosted by myself. Questions designed by myself. They're not very hard questions. I didn't think they were hard, but I only got about 50% of them, and I knew the answers. There is a round of drinks, free round of drinks for the winning team. We'd like to get teams of 10, if we can get them together to come and do the quiz. And we have a cup this year as well. And Pontins have managed to throw in a bottle of wine for the winners as well. Can't guarantee the grade, can't guarantee what it's like, but they have thrown in a bottle of wine. And then on Thursday evening, we have the Gilbertese dancers are coming with a Hawaiian night. So did everybody remember their Hawaiian shirts? I will apologise for my Hawaiian shirt right now. It makes me look like a cannabis plant. Okay, so just be aware. And then obviously, from Hawaiian night on Friday, it's obviously time to go home. So hopefully, we've got lots of things going on. None of these are mandatory, you don't have to come. You know, if you want to leave now and think this guy's going to be boring for the next 45 minutes, you can go off and do whatever. Obviously, there's lots of other things going on in Pontins. Bingo, cabarets, lots of things going on. So it's entirely up to you how you spend your week, but hopefully you'll spend it with us. So, my first slide. What's happening around the community? So, for those of you that aren't on Facebook, for those of you that don't get our news desk articles or haven't got the internet or don't know what it's all about, what we've done with the BNTVA and the NCCF. So everybody familiar with what the NCCF is, the Nuclear Community Charities Fund. It was set up to administer the money that was given to us by the LIBOR funds. Now that phase 2 is happening, the NCCF is now its own registered charity. This was a stipulation from the government because of the funds that were being processed through. They didn't want the BNTVA as a charity with its other charitable aims and its membership and everything else to have the burden of administering these grants and these projects. So the NCCF is now just a small charity that is administering the projects. As part of this process, the BNTVA changed its charitable status. The BNTVA is now what we call a CIO foundation status. If anybody wants to look it up on the Charity Commission website, it's a great document. It's about 200 pages long. It's great. But the CIO Foundation status basically gives us a better legal status within the charity world. We have a new charity registration number, and as Sandy was saying, it's a new organisation as far as legal is concerned. All of the old BNTVA assets, money, everything else has been vested into the new charity. It's just that we have a new charity registration number. So all applications, I know some people here have applied for help through the NCCF and through the applications. Everything is being processed by the NCCF. They have a grant panel and they have a board. 3 members of the BNTVA trustees are on the NCCF board to make sure that the NCCF administer it correctly. I, as chairman of the BNTVA, used to sit on the grant panel of the NCCF. So I was one of the people that was looking through applications, anonymised applications, to say whether they were being approved or not. After 6 months of doing that, I felt a little bit uncomfortable with that because I've actually spoken to lots of you beforehand. I knew some of the applications, so a lot of the applications I was actually abstaining from the vote. I was stepping out while they were deciding. So what's been decided is that I will not sit on the grant panel anymore, but I will become the appeals and review. So basically, if a grant's turned down and it needs to go to appeal, I will step in and make sure the whole process has been done. Also, I will be reviewing and dip sampling certain applications to make sure that they're following their process. It's great for me because I don't have to go to the grant panel meetings in London 4 times a year, but I will be picking them up. So if you've had any issues with your application, or if you felt that the application process was too long, or they asked for too much information, or you didn't get what you wanted, then I'm the person that I'm going to come to. They assured me that last year they had 0 appeals, and that's why they gave me the job. I can't see that there will be 0 appeals and reviews this year, because hopefully you're all going to apply. So, BH Associates is a company who are providing the management for the NCCF. They're the people that are providing the applications, doing the graphic design, doing all the work, doing all the setup, making sure the letters go out, making sure that they're discussing it with suppliers, all of this type of thing. They're the ones, the big company that are administering it, and that's Nigel and Steve who will be coming tomorrow. So you will be talking to the people who are actually doing the work. So if you've got any questions, think of them now. I'll stand in the back, you can bombard him with questions, okay? Make sure that anything that you're unsure of, anything at all, even if you think it's a silly question, just ask them that they're here, they're going to be here all day. So, as part of the NCCF, we have 3 other projects. You've probably heard of the DNA programme that was announced that I did last year. It's been in the press, there's quite a lot of stuff going on about it. But we are doing a DNA research programme with Brunel University. This is taking 100 applicants, 50 test veterans, 50 other veterans. So basically we've got a control set. They are trying to look for the father, a wife, and a descendant, either a daughter or a son. What they're going to do is they're going to test the DNA to see whether there's any mutations within the DNA, to see whether you, as veterans, are passing on DNA mutation down the line. It's a 3-year programme. Nigel's going to talk to you about it much more tomorrow, but it's a 3-year programme. Unfortunately, the MOD would not allow us to select the 50. I was waiting for chuckles for that, because, But they have, Brunel University have been allowed to independently select those 50. What it means is that after the 3 years, we should either have a, yes, you are passing on DNA and you have been affected, or, no, you're not, or it's inconclusive. We have no idea at the moment. And if you talk to Rona Anderson, for people who came to the AGM this year, she gave a good talk. After 5 minutes of talking to her, you're like, okay, stop talking about DNA because I've lost you completely about what it's all about, chromosomes and double helixes and all these type of things. But hopefully, it should give us an answer. So it's a 3-year program, there's 2 years left, so it will finish probably end of 2019, beginning of 2020 by the time the findings are out. We have a remembrance program. Now for those of you who have or know of the BNTVA's remembrance stones around the country, there are an awful lot of them. There are an awful lot more than I thought there were. These remembrance stones are all going to be renewed throughout the country. The National Memorial Arboretum has a very nice memorial. That's going to be expanded. At the moment there is one big stone, it's about this big. It's about that big. It's going to have 2 wings put on the side to that stone. And next year, we're going to have a big ceremony on the 3rd of October at the National Memorial Arboretum, which you'll all be invited to unveil this stone. On the 5th of October this year in Manchester, the first renewed stone will be unveiled. Anybody from Manchester or around that area? I'll skip that now, I'll skip. What they did within Manchester, the council decided to move the memorial garden because it was in the way of some development. So they moved it all and re-put all the stones back down. With the BNTVA stone and the memorial to you all, they put it in a cupboard and forgot to put it back down again. After 2 years of fighting them to say there definitely was one there, and here's pictures of it, and here it is, they have created us a new stone and a new memorial, and it will be unveiled on the 5th of October. So if any of you would like to go, tomorrow night we'll give you a form to be able to go, and you'll get help to go to this event if you want to go and stand for the memorial. That's why I asked if it was around Manchester, because obviously it is a bit of a trek. We also have the Care, Wellbeing and Inclusion Fund. It used to be called the Care and Wellbeing Fund, now it's called the Care, Wellbeing and Inclusion Fund. This is a fund where you can apply for help, for adaptations to your house, wheelchairs, mobility scooters, ramps, respite care breaks, these type of things. And the whole grant panel and the review process has been totally revamped for this year. And the idea is that you can apply, we will give you help, and we will pay suppliers direct for anything that you need help with. So keep applying, and Nigel will talk to you a bit more about that tomorrow. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Well, what am I doing? Working 10 times harder on this project than I thought I was going to. That's what I'm doing. What we're doing is we're going forward together. So we are making sure that you and your service is never forgotten. Can I just have a show of hands for the number of descendants that are here today? Brilliant stuff. Excellent. Brilliant. This next show of hands, how many of them are members of the Fallout group on Facebook? Pretty good, actually. Susan will be happy with that. Basically, what we've done with the Fallout group is a closed Facebook group, so people who've got Facebook, you can join the Facebook group, and we have chats and discussions about what's going on as a descendant and the issues that you are facing as a descendant. It may be that your father is still alive, maybe not, helping with your mother, those type of things, or you've got issues yourself. So this Fallout group's become quite popular because of the way that, I was going to say youngsters use it, I use it, so I class myself as a youngster. Use the social media, it's become very successful. We're now including everybody, all nuclear veterans and their descendants can join the BNTVA and can be part of the NCCF. So, the NCCF application process says, what relationship were you to the descendant? So, relationship to the veteran. Were you the veteran? Were you their wife? Were you their child? Or were you their grandchild? Or now, were you their great-grandchild? It's following down all the way through. So all you need to do is provide the link to the nuclear veteran. That's it. You're off. Okay? We're raising the profile. Trying to raise the profile for people that are getting the news desk articles via email, for people that are trying to get, that are on social media, on Facebook. We're getting quite a lot more social media output. There's lots of descendants, lots of discussion groups going on Facebook. Some of them go on too long for me. They go on quite a long time. But they're very good. We're doing the memorial stones, as we say. I, for instance, lived in Spalding for 8 years. It wasn't until Doug said, you know, we've got a memorial stone in the Peace Gardens in Spalding. No, I didn't know. No idea. So what we're trying to do with the NMA and the memorial stones is that each memorial stone will have a QR code attached to them. People know what a QR code is? A QR code is this horrible little square thing that you get with all the black dots and everything on it on lots of things. But basically the memorial stone will have one of those. If you've got a smartphone, you can come up, click that QR code, and it will take you to a web page telling you all about the nuclear tests. Going further than that is that part of the Nuclear Voices programme, which I'm going to speak to you in a moment, is that it will take you to a story of somebody who lives in that area. Your story. So we're trying to build a virtual museum with pictures, artefacts, stories, videos, and link it to these memorial stones. And hopefully that will be followed on with educational visits of schools and things like that. So whenever a child comes to the stone, goes, oh, it just says nuclear test veterans. All right, okay, I'll walk away from that. By giving them something, because even the 3-year-olds have got smartphones these days, they will go, click it, and they will see something that's interactive for them. As part of that is what we call the Nuclear Voices programme. Now, for people that have already signed up for that on the sheet, thank you very much. What the Nuclear Voices programme is it was an initiative started last year, because what we're trying to do is get your story, either by video or by audio, entirely up to you, at a location that's easy for you. So I have to come to your house, I will do. If you want it down the local pub, that's fine. Did you get that? If you want it down the local pub. Subliminal messages here. What we want to do is record your story, from initially going into the service all the way through to now. That will then be stored digitally and put on to our virtual museum. Okay, now we started this process off. It's taken a long time to set it up, but I have now ordered all the equipment, so we're ready to start in October. So for everybody filling in those sheets, I will be contacting you to arrange a time to come and see you. When I started this off, I got a phone call from the Imperial War Museum, who said, we'd like to come and talk to you about your programme that you want to undertake. Okay, so Jeff and I went to talk to him, and a lady said, we are revamping the Cold War room. It's a floor within the Imperial War Museum. How many people have been to the Imperial War Museum recently? They've redone the floors, so it goes up, First World, Second World, and it's going up. As part of the Cold War revamp, we're having a section about nuclear tests in the corner, finally. And as part of this process, they want to store all of our articles. So, our DVDs, pictures, all of these stories want to be lodged at the Imperial War Museum. The idea being that anybody walking around the Imperial War Museum can again click a button and listen to some of your stories. So you will become a little bit immortalised within the Imperial War Museum. What we wanted to do was so that you're not forgotten, because you have been forgotten. We've had people here today who was talking to Doug. What's all this about? When Doug explains to them, they'll say, oh, that didn't happen. Did it really? All those years ago, this happened. there's generations and generations that are missing out on this. So if we can get it into the Imperial War Museum as well, it will be there forever. And our last bit on that slide is that we're trying to give help and guidance for everybody. It's a hard task. We're only still a small organisation, but we're trying really, really hard. So, what I've done, hopefully, that everybody's here, everybody's sat down now, is you're probably aware that there's lots of BNTVA trustees here today. Okay, they don't know this yet, but I'm going to go down the list and ask them to introduce themselves. Okay, so first on the list is somebody that the majority of you people already know, and that's Doug Hearn. Doug, where are you? Here he is.
My position within the committee is historian, and I look after the archives at the moment. And as Alan was remarking on the Imperial War Museum, they're looking to actually store those for us eventually when the situation's sorted out with them. Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our list is Sandy. Do you want to say anything else, Sandy? Not really. Okay, right. Okay, the next lot of trustees are people that you probably haven't heard of or met unless you have been on Facebook. So Susan, come here Susan, come on. This is Susan Musselwhite. Susan is a descendant like myself. For everybody who's on Facebook, Twitter, all of those social media posts, all of those news desk posts you get, it's down to her.
No, it's not. I'll start coughing.
It's down to Susan, okay? She'll say it's not, but it is down to Susan. Susan's increased our social media post reach by about 1,000%. See, she said it just like 1,000%. It is massive, so please, it's in the packs that you've got with Facebook. She's done a wonderful job. You have done a wonderful job. Okay.
He's just saying that.
Are you still in the room, Alison? Or have you ran?
He's running.
She's running. This is Alison. Alison is our new financial officer and is also on the social media group. Alison's a descendant herself. So what we're trying to do is combine descendants and veterans together. We're on the board, okay? You might think this is a descendant show, but we started with Doug, obviously he's a veteran. It's not. We're not forgetting all of you. We're just trying to do everything with social media and everything else. So Alison's part of the social media group as well, so she's taken on 2 roles. My next trustee is Ron. Come on, Ron. This is Ron Watson. You've probably already met Ron. Ron is doing financial help for us as well, but at the last trustee meeting he is now the new editor of the magazine.
There somewhere. I say that.
Yeah, you did, Ron.
I've got it worked out, don't you worry. I got totally conned, but anyway, not to worry, I'll have a go. If somebody writes something, I'll look at it. Change the English. Oh, if you don't like it, I'll change it. But I won't mess it up, that's for sure. Because I like checking up on people. I don't want to say a lot more because I'll leave it to the man who's good at it.
Basically, Ron, as editor, if you've got any articles that you want to go into the magazine or you want to go online, finding friends, stories, anything that wants to go in, if it's going to go in the magazine, it'll go to Ron. If it's going to go on social media, it will go to Susan. Okay, next trustee. Eric, are you here? He is there. Here's Eric. Eric, wow. Eric is our newest trustee from last week, so very new. But he is representing the people that were there as part of the Dominic tests. Okay? So Eric, can you come up? Because I have something for you.
Dun, dun, dun.
for a long time that we've had quite a lot of stock with BNTVA logos, grapple logos, all these type of things. So anybody else here from Operation Dominic who were doing the tests? Got a few, that's good. One of the things that Eric and I were working on was to have a small logo to the people who were here at Operation Dominic. There are still people around. My father was one of those as well. So what we've done is we've done a badge together, and this is a new shirt that's been produced with the logo on. Now if anybody wants one of these, we can order these for you. It's an Operation Dominic logo, this is Christmas Island. And Eric's been instrumental in redesigning this. We've gone backwards and forwards quite a lot, haven't we? Yeah. To get it here. So this is the first one produced. And the gentleman that produced it is sat at the back over there. Brian, please. Thank you very much. We'll also have some blazer badges as well, for anybody that wants a blazer badge. But if you want to go and have a look at it close up, go and see Eric, because this one's his, and you're probably going to have to wrestle it off him to start with.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I do have another one of those here as well. I've got two. And the last person on the list is me. I won't talk much more, that's just me on the list. So, we've managed to get 7 of us here today. So if you've got any question about any part of the BNTVA, any part of what's going on, anything you want to talk about, all the trustees are fully aware of what's going on. If you want to talk about social media, go talk to Susan.
Don't.
Obviously magazine, Ron is here, but they all know what's going on, so you can talk to any one of us. So, just to recap for you a little bit, BH Associates are coming on Wednesday, talking to you about applications that you might have, all the projects that are going on, and it's Nigel and Steve. But they're also staying here for the day. They're not just going to come and give you a quick presentation, go to the bar and run. They're here for the whole day. So if you've got any questions for them, or would like to even apply on the day, or talk to them about could I, couldn't I, they will be here for you to talk to. So, our not forgotten statement. No nuclear veteran should be forgotten, whether you're sat here or not, whether they've gone. They shouldn't be forgotten. We should be building a nuclear community. There are lots of other people around the world that underwent nuclear testing. We're including the descendants, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren now. We're providing help and assistance wherever we can through the NCCF. We want to publish more stories using social media and press. Now, for those people who are on social media, you would have seen a story last week or the week before of a young lady at school who was asked to do a project. And she decided...
It's not gone out fully yet.
Not gone out fully yet?
No,
Okay.
it's been out on Fallout, but not...
I'll give you a sneak preview then. She is a young lady who was asked to do a project at school. She decided to do a project on her granddad. Part of the tests. She did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. She produced leaflets. She had a big presentation, and she got an A star for this. And she raised awareness within her school. So we're going to promote her on Facebook because what she's done is fantastic. And that's an example of a grandchild that is actually interested in what their granddad did. We have the Nuclear Voices programme, and it will be me that will be coming around and talking to you and chatting to you. And unfortunately we also do have coffee drapes. I included it on the list. I took it off, I put it on, I took it off and I put it on, and I thought, well, I will leave it on. There is a programme where if you do attend a funeral, or you have a funeral yourselves, or family members or anything like that, and they are a veteran, or if you know of a veteran that was a nuclear veteran, we do have a coffin drape available that will be sent to you free of charge for this service. And if you would like a standard bearer to be at a funeral, we have 2 standard bearers that will quite happily attend for you. So if you know anybody else who's not here as well, Sandy attended one 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Yeah. So, our Imperial War Museum. This is a great programme. Doug and I went to visit Duxford a couple of weeks ago and chatted to a lady called Rebecca. They want to store all our recordings. Not just the recordings, they want audio, they want video, they want artefacts. We did chuckle because the lady said, we don't have very many artefacts from Christmas Island. So really? You wouldn't get a lot of artefacts back from Christmas Island. It's part of the new Cold War floor, where the whole nuclear story will be displayed. She wants to show a timeline going all the way through. If you've got a pack, if you haven't already signed up and you'd like to sign up, then please do so. It's filmed wherever you feel comfortable, as I said. It's by myself, it's not a film producer. There will be a couple of questions at the start, you know, name, rank, years you were there, that sort of thing. But the rest of it is just your story. Your story in your words. They have, yeah. The Royal Engineers Museum does have a nuclear part. Yeah. They want to store our information, but they're a bit lax with pictures. They don't have a lot of pictures. So if you have pictures and you would like to donate them to the Imperial War Museum, then either talk to myself or Doug about it. Videos, documentation, artefacts. When Doug had asked, what do you mean by artefacts? What do you want? They're saying if you've got anything, yeah. Jokingly I said, so obviously you want the film badges then? Yeah, if we get one of those. So we'd like one of those as well. Anything that you might have, that you may have brought back from Christmas Island, they would like to show. Because obviously, as part of a display, they need other things as well. It is a bit of a unique opportunity to be immortalised within the archives. So, as part of our community programme around the world, I went to the National Association of Atomic Veterans in Branson, Missouri for 4 days to talk to them about their experiences as part of a convention. I'm glad that's cut me off on the end. That's Fred Schaefer in the middle. He's the national commander. The guy on the end is the Marshallese ambassador to the US. Now, for those of you who know about the American tests, obviously they tested on Marshall Island as well as Christmas Island. This guy here is representing the Marshallese and their plight. So I went in, it was 4 days, represented the BNTVA, I represented the Dominic test participants, and I represented the NCCF. I gave them a 2-hour presentation chatting about what we're doing in the UK and what they're doing. What we're trying to do is forge links with them. For people that see the social media, you would have seen a couple of posts about their plight and what they're doing. They're very interested in what we're doing over here. They're also very interested in our DNA testing program. We want to try and continue awareness with them, and in next year's AGM, Fred Schaefer will be coming to our AGM to speak to us about what's happening in America. And for those of you that follow the American program, they have a compensation scheme. It's called the Radiation Compensation Exposure Program. I stupidly went there and stood in front of them and said, okay, so you've all got your $75,000. I thought I was going to get things thrown at me. They are in exactly the same situation as a lot of you are. Some guy stood up and said, I'd love to have it, but they have no record of me ever being there. Lots of nods their heads from They're in exactly the same situation as us. They want recognition. Their legislative process is an awful long process. Senates, House, Lords, like we have. It's just the Senate. Then they have a separate bill that goes through. And the only way that they can get a lot of the bills through, they believe, is to get Donald Trump to sign an executive order. For those of you who know your American politics, because I've got an insight into American politics, John McCain is blocking quite a lot of the bills. Donald Trump doesn't like John McCain. So what they want to try and do is get to Donald Trump and get him to sign an executive order just to get one over on John McCain. And as it was put to me is, that guy's stupid enough to sign anything if we put it in front of him. It means he can get it. So they are a community, they have a representative in every single state of the US. And they're doing exactly the same as what we're doing here, getting reunions, memorials, and there will be a big post going out on social media on... So just you weren't listening. No, for the my American trip.
Next week.
Next week, brilliant.
Because we're a bit busy this week.
We're a bit busy this week?
Oh. Having fun.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions now, and then you can ask me some questions. I want you to think about what you'd like to see the BNTVA doing. I've stood here and said we're a nice new organisation. We're a nice new organisation with a massive past. That past's never going to be forgotten. Okay? What would you like to see me stand up in front of people and do? What would you like to see the team do? I don't do magic tricks.
We weren't thinking that.
You weren't thinking magic tricks, no?
No.
I can't sing either.
It's Sue's fault.
What would you like from the NCCF?
Oh.
You can ask them that question tomorrow. But what would you like? What would you like to see? What would you like to see them doing? How can we, as a board, help you? It's your chance to put some input in. What do you need help with? Is there a common theme that we all need help with something? What other areas do we need to be pursuing that we haven't thought of? Other areas that you think? Should we set up a bar? Yeah. Should we have free drinks at Western for everybody? Yeah, those two. And more importantly, how can we integrate all of our nuclear veterans? This is the most important one. This is what I'm working on, to try and integrate you all together. It's not that difficult when you think about it. You are all unique. Very unique. You all saw something that I hope none of us will ever have to see again. Unless you're in North Korea and you see one every day. But how can we do it? What's the best way to do it? What do you want? So, our BNTVA conference 2018 is in Western. Not here. It's in the Grand Atlantic Hotel. So I've put a picture of it, if people don't know where that is. It's that massive building right on the seafront. Booking forms will be available from December, but Nigel will be bringing tomorrow the help to assist you to get to that event forms. It's on the 18th and 20th of May 2018. We'd love it if as many people can come as possible. With it being in Western, obviously it's right on the seafront. We could have good fun for the 3 days. If you can attend, it's great. We'll have some good speakers because Fred's coming from America. We'll have an update on the DNA program. It'll be very good. So, don't forget, this is the last slide, everybody. You're right, you don't have to go to sleep yet. Please fill in your Nuclear Voices form if you want to participate. Participate in the quiz. It's a good quiz. 3 round of drinks for the winning team. Wearing a Hawaiian shirt for the Gilbertese dance night, if you've got one. If you haven't got one, it doesn't matter, but if you remember to bring one. I know lots of the ladies have brought grass skirts and things. Most important part of this slide, talk to us. Talk to any of the trustees here. They've all stood up in front of you now. Don't see it as like, oh, I wish I'd have said that, or I wish I'd have said this. Tell me anything. Anything you want. You scream at me if you like, I don't mind. Just talk to me. Remember that you're not forgotten. The team are here to help you. We're trying to help you and support you as much as we can. Okay. Now, as part of this process, I'm going to do a bit of a question and answer session. Okay. That line does say, the only stupid question is the one you do not ask. Okay. But I've got something first. Okay. I've been asked by David to say that we're going to produce a calendar for 2019. As part of that process, we're going to ask people to submit photographs to appear on the various months. And we'd like them submitted by the AGM in 2018. Okay? So you can talk to David. Do you want to stand up, David? At the back there. About this process. The idea being that we get a calendar out, it'll become a bit of a collector's piece, and it will have your photos on the calendar that we can then start selling around. Again, if it's hanging up, raising profile. We get as many photos in as we can, and then we'll put together a little panel to select the ones that we think are most appropriate for the calendar. So, no shots of naked men running across the desert. Unless you want to be Mr. March or something like that. Maybe from 50 years ago. But we'd like it to be a lovely calendar with lots of good pictures on it. Showing not just explosions, but showing your experiences on that. So we can sell it and turn it off each month. Okay? So have a think about that as well, but David is there to talk to about that, if anybody wants to come and talk to him about it. Okay? So, got anything else to add to that, David?
No, just one other thing, Alan. Maralinga, if anybody's good with the Australian test, I'd be grateful to Maralinga.
So, David's asked if there's anybody from Maralinga. He'd like to talk to somebody from Maralinga if anybody's here. So what we're going to do now is have a bit of a question and answer session. I'll come round, I'll ask one of my glamorous assistants to pass the microphone round. And then
Mr. Chairman, can you please tell me all about Dominic?
Dominic?
And also photographs of Christmas Island. We went back in 2007. Would you like any of those photographs?
Definitely.
And also, I do a speech from time to time from local areas, and I have a nice 45-minute chat. If you'd like the script of that, I will let you have it.
Fantastic. Yes, John.
But Dominic, please.
Susan?
Oh, yeah. That'd help, wouldn't it?
Okay, yeah. The answer to your question, yes. Any material that you've got that would help me would be fantastic. If the people went back, definitely. Any pictures that we've got of what the island looks like now would be fantastic as well. But to answer your question around Dominic, Operation Dominic was the American series of tests on Christmas Island. 62, 61 to 63. And there were British participants in Operation Dominic. There was a naval party, and I've had the great pleasure of meeting Peter. He sat at the back, I think, Peter. Who was a participation on Operation Dominic with my father, which was amazing to talk to. Eric himself was an Operation Dominic participant. Basically, the British were there to see what the Americans were doing. And see, basically, it was still our island at the time, so we had to put a small contingent there. The Americans set off 24 bombs around Christmas Island in a year. Because they have to do things bigger and better than us, of course. So if you want to talk about anybody that Operation Dominic, obviously Eric will be able to chat to, and Peter will be able to chat to as well. But yes, please, any material we've got, because we haven't got a lot of material you know, pictures and photos, script would be fantastic. Would be brilliant.
That's all right.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about the question of a British medal for what we did. Very significant in the Cold War and to keep Britain up to speed with the nuclear deterrent. Now, as far as I've looked into it, there's two commemorative medals, one from Australia and one from Britain, but they are commemorative medals, not official medals issued by the British government. Now, one of the excuses they made, all right, it was dangerous, you pushed it when you did, but it wasn't a war. Well, the President already said, by the Polar Medal for service personnel who went with the Shackleton expedition in 1910 and the Fuchs expedition in 1958. I knew a chap that was in 1958. He had a white ribbon. So that was a medal for something that's dangerous, but it wasn't all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So for everybody that's sat here, is that an area that you would like me and the BNTVA to take up?
Yes. Yes.
That was a resounding yes. There is another guy dealing with medals who has written to me quite a lot about medals, but it's not just a nuclear medal. But if you would like me to take that up on your behalf, I'm very happy to do so. I can start that process off and talk to the people from the MOD. Ron and I did speak to the medal people at the MOD at Armed Forces Day. So, thank you very much for that. That's exactly what I wanted about what you want us to do. And I will take that up for you.
Alan, anybody that are going to send anything regarding materials that we're requesting, we need a receiving point for that.
For anybody that's going to send us material, before you send it to us, we will send you a form with details on A, we need your consent to use it, B, we'll tell you where to send it to. So if you just want to register your interest to start with, we will create a form for you to send, and then you can send it on to us. Doug just made that clear for me. Has anybody else got questions?
Alan, the other item on that is data protection. We need a release.
Yeah, so we need that consent. Yeah, definitely. There is a new thing for the Imperial War Museum. Doug's just tweaked my memory here. When we spoke to them, we have lots of archive footage, and sometimes we don't know who they are. So you take a photo, you go, look, and you say it's Christmas Island, and you go, I have no idea who they are. Before, we were not allowed to use that because obviously it is somebody's picture, somebody's given to us. Now they have what's called the Orphaned Register. What the Orphaned Register is a facility for museums. We can give them the photo, they can publish the photo as an orphaned item. What then happens is that as part of that orphan process, if somebody comes along and goes, that's me, or that's my dad, or that's my granddad, they can then write to the Imperial War Museum and say that's my dad or that's me, and they will either credit them, or if that person doesn't want that image up there, they will take it down. It's so that old images, when you look and think, I have no idea who they are, can actually be published rather than just sitting in a drawer. So it's this new idea called the Orphan Register, but it's only available to museums. It's not available to us, we can't publish things, it's only available to them. Anybody else got a question? Yep.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have one fantastic chairman, do we not? I mean that very sincerely because many of us have been here over the years, and we've never had such a presentation as we've had this morning. I'm going to ask our chairman and the officers of the association to do something for us which they will not do. And what they will not do is to pursue the compensation that we should have had and still should have. The association, I believe, sold us out. They did not pursue, and they took the money, you might say, on the side. You won't pursue it. I'm sorry, but you won't pursue it, but it is a nagging doubt for many, many veterans here today. And I think, in fact, as part of your theme, as part of your going forward, do not forget that. Well done, Lord.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for that, because obviously my involvement in the BNTVA it's a bit of a cop-out, but was after, but it's not a cop-out, because one of the things we're trying to do with the DNA testing program is to make sure that if we can get proof from the DNA, then we will be using that research to resurrect that program. At the moment where we are, because of the NCCF funding, call it a cop-out, call it not, with help, we cannot at the moment resurrect the compensation program as it stands. But with the DNA testing, if we can get proof of the DNA mutation, we have a whole new strand to start talking about the compensation program. One of the things that I'm very keen on with the DNA testing, and I'm on the advisory panel as well with Brunel, is that this DNA testing does not get discredited. Because as soon as it gets published, it will get discredited by somebody. You didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. That's why the program is taking 3 years to do, because we're making sure that everything is done correctly and everything is ticked off. But once we have that DNA findings, then we will be looking to go back to the government for a compensation program. But unfortunately, until that time, there will be nothing that they will do for us because of the NCCF money. The libel funds that were put aside by the government, the £25 million headline, as it was for the Age Veterans Fund, not just for us. And it's not even their money. It's libel fund money, it's PPI money, banks money. So the government like to make sure that they are politically correct, and it's all nicey, look how much money we've given to the age veterans, when in fact it's not even their money that they're giving away. It's been a very long process to get that age veteran fund money, and it's a very long process for the NCCF to actually get part of that funding. So it is a step in the right direction, but for me, my father who's no longer here, my brother who's no longer here, all of these people that are no longer here, the compensation fight, the medal fight, I'm quite happy to take on the medal fight right now, but I can't take on the compensation fight until we get the DNA. That's all I can answer, I'm afraid. I'll be honest with you, that's where we are with it. Anybody else got any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can I ask why the French got paid out in the process, and they have the same sort of problems that we did?
It's down to government level. It really is. The Americans have got the compensation program, and the Americans have paid to some of our British veterans because they were there at the time. The French have been paid out, not an awful lot, but they have been paid out. Talk to the New Zealanders. At the moment, they have just got this gold card where their medications are all paid for and have been recognised. But it's down to government level. We do have a letter from the Prime Minister at the time, David Cameron, it sticks, saying, yes, part of the libel funds in recognition of your service. I have that letter here if anybody wants to see it. But it's not a full compensation program. We will carry it on, but we do need some evidence to push it. Without that evidence, they won't even go anywhere near us. Anybody else? Oh, there's that. I've lost my glamorous assistant.
Oh no, back.
Think about this. Now, I'm an ex-service myself, and there's a war pension board, which, if you've any injuries, which I get some money from, which other people do, can that not be applied to? You can't hear me. I was an instructor. No, I have also a pensioner in services. Spent 25 years in the Royal Marines. I was also an NBC instructor, and at the courses they tell you of the effects of nuclear radiation to the body. It attacks the bones. Friends of mine have died of bone cancer after being at the Christmas Island. My uncle just passed away recently. He was in the RAF there. So there's a lot of things happening here. But should the War Pension Board be able to compensate some of the people who have got injuries or things that are happening to them because of their war service or service in that area? Also, on the disgraced medals, yes, the British government doesn't issue many medals, and most of the men who served at that time must have a campaign medal of some sort. Why can't they give you something like this, a bomb on top of it, and a bomb going off, as they did with the Forces medal? For people who landed, they gave a rosette. For people who didn't land on the ships, they still get the medal. Basically, things like that to recognise what's happened. That's it.
In regards to the awards and the pension, I will admit that I am not the most up-to-date person with that type of thing, with the awards and the pension scheme. I'm going to ask Doug, do we have anybody with awards and pensions that we...
There is an application form for active service.
I'm going to give Doug the microphone.
There's two forms that we managed to locate. Sorry, can you hear me now? There's two forms that have come to light just recently. We do know that one of them was published in 2013. We've only just found out about it. And this is dealing with, if you think your service caused you any medical problems, you fill this form in. It's only 2 pages, and send it in, and they will then send you back what they think and information you should know. Secondly, there is another set of forms, and I think there's 20 pages, and it's referred to one page, referred to the next, referred to 13. You have to really follow it hard through, and it's for application for pensions for active service. Now, to qualify, you must be on an operation for 12 months or over. Battery's gone down. Can you hear me?
No. Batteries. Hang on, no. There you go.
Okay. Thanks. I'll go back on that one. There is a new application form that we've come across, and it is for application for pensions for active service. And to qualify, it's gone again. It's dying.
Yeah, the battery's dead. Alan, the battery's dead. One minute.
I'll get another go. Can you hear that?
Yeah, there you go.
Right. To qualify, you must have been on active service for 12 months. Sorry, it's gone again. On active service for 12 months or over. So any person here that was not in an area of detonations for 12 months or more, they qualify. For anybody that didn't make the 12 months, say 7 months, 9 months, you can apply, but I don't think they will respond very favourably to you.
Let's move the goalpost then. Let's move the goalpost.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah. I'll look in my briefcase when I get back to the shed and see if I've got a copy of those 2 documents. Okay, thank you.
There was a lady asked me about membership subscriptions and what do they do about it. Now, from now on, I will be dealing with all memberships, okay? And I will have all the membership data on the database. I will be sending out membership forms to anybody that wants them. Sorry. And anybody that just gives me a tinkle, I will send out the membership forms, just fill them in and we'll sort them out from there. But that's what I'm doing from now on, so tis moi. I should be looking after you. Because I love you.
Have you got some now?
Sandy,
Yes.
if I've been paying by
Direct debit? Yeah. Well, you'll still, no, that will just carry on. What's happened is, because we've had a new charity number, we've also had to have a new bank account. But that will not affect your membership. Your membership will just transfer automatically from one to the other. That doesn't make any difference to yourselves. So,
there was a mix-up over it.
yeah, all your direct debits will still go out and all your standing orders will still go out as normal. But as I said, if there's anybody that's a bit unsure about the subscriptions and membership, just give me a tinkle or come and shout at me now and I'll sort it out. Okay, thank you.
Can I just add to that Sandy has taken on the role, so that if you send a letter, if you send a membership, if you send anything to the BNTVA, it's all coming past her desk. It's not coming past my desk, it's coming past Sandy's desk. So in January, you will get a nice new pack, explaining all about the membership, explaining about the charity. You'll get a nice new card because it will have the new charity registration number on it. Everything will be coming out to you in January. So what Sandy has been prepared to take on, which is it's no small task, is the task of every single piece of communication. Now you can imagine what comes through the BNTVA's desk for communication, and she's taking it all on. So it's a big task. She's also available on the phone as well to talk to. Obviously with Doug being there as well, we've got this good setup and this team behind us now to try and get you with your questions answered straight away, and B, if there's any membership or if there's anything you want that we can try and help and it'll be passed to the right direction. There will be an update to the membership form because we're going to ask people about their families as well within that pack. So just so that we can start carry on with collating the information. Please.
The new card, will it still have BNTVA?
The new card will still have BNTVA, yes. With just the new charity registration number. So, we've got a question from the back. Susan?
Hello. I'd just like to reiterate what the gentleman down on the right said about past membership. I first joined, I went to a meeting in Leeds at the town hall, and there were over 400 members, former, people who had served on the island. And despite acrimony that existed shortly after that, I'd still like to think that our committee at the moment are able to call on the records, not necessarily of the ones who have passed over, because many of them have, but they left behind families, and I don't think we should forget them. It must be in the record, so I would ask the committee to try to get hold of those records and contact, if not the survivors, the members, then their families, because I think there will be some valuable information in respect of DNA and the damages.
Susan, Susan, if you give it to Doug, Doug can answer that question.
Okay, we have a lot of records in the archives, but unfortunately these records came through without any pedigree. As officers on the committee during those years retired or sadly died, some of the material destroyed and some came through fragmented. We're now trying to sort that out. We definitely have records of membership from 92 onwards, possibly up to 2003, and I'm in the process of looking through those before we do anything else with them. As you are well aware that the association was closed down in 91 by Ken McGinley, and unfortunately no records were retrieved from the previous era. In some of the material I have, there are copies of events during that time, but as I said, they're fragmented, they're half letters, quarter letters, communication to one person but no communication back. But we are, or I'm going to start resorting again once we've got the business that we've had to take in hand recently completed. Thank you.
While Doug's just been answering that, this letter here, you can't read it from where you are, I have to stand a bit closer to read it as well. This is from 10 Downing Street. For people that haven't seen this recognition letter, it's dated the 19th of April 2016. It was from our patron John Barron, who wrote on our behalf to David Cameron. And this is from David Cameron, that says, "I am delighted to provide the following message of support for the British Nuclear Test Veterans Association to use at one of their press events on the 19th of April. I am incredibly pleased..." I'm going to read it over here because it's easy. No, it's not. I'm incredibly pleased that the money from the Age Veterans Fund has been allocated to support our nuclear test veterans. We should all be grateful for the extraordinary service of those who participated in the UK's nuclear testing programme and the sacrifices they made to ensure our country could effectively defend itself during the Cold War and into the present day. Yours, David. Unfortunately, it's a Dear John letter, because it's Dear John. But, that's the first time, obviously, there's a paragraph there from the... So we will use this with our DNA research as well. We will use this to say that there is recognition. We now know that there's issues. We know that there's problems. Let's move it on. For those who haven't seen that, we can publish that if need be as well.
Yeah, we'll put it out.
If anyone wants a copy of it, I can give you copies of it.
I think it was copied once in 19.
We've also got, just as an aside, because I had it as the next slide, for those of you who are not aware that the BNTVA now has United Nations consultative status. This was granted again in April 2016. April was a busy month for us. Basically, the Economic and Social Council now recognises the BNTVA, and we can put input into the UN in relation to nuclear and radiation and their programmes. So we've done quite a lot since I stood here last year, and we're trying to keep moving it forward. But I don't want to move forward in an area that isn't going to benefit you. This isn't about me, this isn't about our board, this is about you. So we want you to tell us what you want to do. So, medals, definite one from today. Compensation, we'll keep going with the DNA programme, but it will always be there. They're the two big things I've picked up from today, which we'll move forward with. So has anybody else got any questions? Oh.
Come on.
Keep Susan on her toes.
Please, press me up.
About the DNA question. Now the thing is, what has been said that a lot of people have died through cancer and what have you, that might be associated with atomic or normal. Now the thing is, if we're going to do the testing, then the DNA testing, then it should be those people that are still alive from the descendants of that particular person, because that's more likely where they will find some variations that might be associated to nuclear, what have you.
Yeah, well, that's, I can answer that. Yeah. Just to explain what Brunel are doing, Nigel explains a little bit more tomorrow, but basically they're taking a veteran, they're taking their wife and a child. They need the trio. Without the trio of the three, it doesn't work. So the idea, unfortunately, if they have passed away, they can't use them. They've got to have the trio. So everybody's looking now thinking, well, there isn't that many necessarily trios left. There isn't. So we've got to do it now. So the idea is the trio, because we've got to say, right, okay, you as a veteran, let's take a case subject that wasn't exposed, but is still a veteran of the same age. They're the control subject. Take their DNA, take the wife's DNA, take the child's DNA. How does that differ to somebody exactly the same age, veteran, wife, daughter, but wasn't at the tests? To see the difference between the two. But you're exactly right, without the child, it doesn't work. So they've got to have the three. Okay? And Brunel will be testing the three people around that. It could be a child, it could be a son, it could be a daughter, they don't mind, but it's got to be three. They're trying to prove DNA mutation. Now, for people who are interested, which I can talk to you a little bit about it, I sat in Girona for a while. Your DNA will mutate under certain circumstances. So, for instance, if you cut yourself, when it repairs, your DNA repairs itself. Sometimes it repairs itself correctly, other times it doesn't repair itself correctly. So for everybody that's got a scar, it's where your DNA didn't repair itself correctly. That's why you've got a red line across the scar, because it's mutated to repair. So what they're trying to prove is that we take 50 subjects, that the DNA is perfect in these. These 50 nuclear veterans, look, the DNA is mutating as it goes through, and they do not match at all. That's what they're trying to prove. So hopefully I answered that, but Nigel will talk to you a bit more about that tomorrow.
Very well explained.
Very good. Anybody else? Anybody else with any questions? Okay, what we're going to do now is, anybody that hasn't bought a raffle ticket? That means everybody's bought a raffle ticket. The raffle is to give the Gilbertese dancers that are coming, is to help with their travel costs. That's why we're doing the raffle. Guys also saying that as part of this process to get these dancers here, Doug and Sandy stood collecting for these dancers to get them here. They did a couple of collections up by us in Spalding, stood out, one in Morrison's, one in Baytree, and stood there for 2 days collecting money to get these dancers here. So can we just give them a round of applause for getting them here? So what we're going to do, you're still doing tickets for a raffle. Right, has everybody filled in the form with their names on? They're the big sheet that my sister came. There's one here as well, you missed one here.
Where?
There.
Oh, what do you beg pardon, I'm coming?
Right. Once we've got that, so what I think we'll do, if anybody needs a comfort break for 5-10 minutes, I do. So if you need a comfort break for...
Hello ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, I'm Susan. I'm the social media coordinator for the BNTVA, and I've been accosted by a few of you wondering how to find us on social media. in your packs that you got.
Hold it nearer to your mouth, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I hate hearing my own voice.
Shut your ears.
I'll try. In your packs there is how to find us on social media, but we thought Alan and I would do a quick presentation. So it's off the cuff, so I apologise. And if I cough, I also apologise. With the BNTVA, we have our official page, which is B.N.T. excuse me, VA. The charity for atomic veterans, which hopefully will appear on the screen very shortly. This is a like page, so all you've got to do is just like the little thing that says like. And with that, then you'll get throughout your Facebook feed whatever we pop up. Normally we do 2 posts a week, which is on a Tuesday and a Friday. But also we like to throw a few in on the off chance sometimes. We also have 2 non-official pages, which are actually set up both by different descendants. But our social media team, we do monitor everything and we admin everything. So if you do have any questions, we're always about to answer them. One is the British Nuclear Test Veterans, and the other one's BNTVA. Again, hopefully these will all pop up in a minute. But we also do have the Descendants page, which is called Fallout. Fallout is closed group, so it's completely secure. No one other than nuclear veterans and descendants are on the page. Anyone involved in the nuclear community is in that page. So if you want to talk about something, even if it is just to say I'm having a really bad day, we're there for you. Even if you just want to say hello. Say hello. It's great. It's great that then we can all communicate with each other, because we are unique. This room, you're all unique, and it's fantastic that if we can communicate, because communication is something that sometimes really hard, especially if you live on your own. You have 4 walls and that's all you see all day long. That's how I feel. So, here we go. This is our what we call our non-official BNTVA page. It's moving, hang on. Technical difficulties. See, it's everybody. It's not. We all have it. There we go. See, if you can see, that's me, Susan, at the top. I tend to not to put my ugly mug on the page because it's a bit scary. But as you can see, so it's anything that, like, the other day we put up, anyone that was travelling here, travel safe. We look forward to seeing you. And also, if you scroll through, there's interesting stories, or what we think's interesting. But if there's something that you guys think that's interesting, please post it. Because it's great, it's inclusion for everyone. Something that we might think's interesting might not be to you guys, but if there's something that you want us to post, we're always there. Or if you don't want to post it yourself, send me a message. I'll post it for you. It's not a problem. There's loads. This one here is really special. The NCCF, which you've heard all about today, this family, sadly, due to ill health, his father lost his job. And he was struggling to buy his son's school uniform for September. £300 for a uniform, would you believe it? Just to go back to school. He didn't have the money. The NCCF paid for his son's uniform. How amazing is that? And he sent us a lovely picture and thanked us, which is great. So as you can see, there's loads going through. If you've got any questions, I know I keep saying I will sit down and chat, but we've got a few more days yet. So I hopefully will, if you've any, you know, I will get through to everybody. If any questions on how to get onto it, please, I am available for you. Or ask Ron. You can ask Ron. Or Alan, or Alison. You know, we're all here for you guys at the end of the day. And I'm not very good at public speaking, so I do apologise.
Okay, I've been asked a question as well for all the people that are not on Facebook and not on the internet and can't do these sorts of things. One of the questions that we got asked when we recently went to a meeting was, I haven't got any of that, I haven't got the internet, I don't even have a phone. How am I going to keep in contact? If you would like us to keep in contact with you by post, we are going to be setting up a monthly update for people that don't have this. All you need to do is give your name and address to one of the team, and we will send it out to you every month via the post. Okay, because I know some people wait for the campaign magazine, it's been late this year. You know, lots of people are waiting for that, but if you had a monthly update, at least you would be able to know what's going on. It will contain articles like this as well, and other things that are happening. I'll put something in every month just to let you know what's going on and where we are with things that we said we would do today. Okay? So, a couple of things. First thing, we're going to do the raffle. But, could I ask you to keep your ticket stubs at the end? Don't rip them off, keep them at the end, because we have a gentleman here that is going to collect them, and it's going to be used for charity because they make paper mache things out of the ticket stubs and recycle them.